Welcome back once again, and today we're going to take a rapid look at how the new balanced data slate has affected our favourite warrior nuns. Luckily, the Sisters rules are decently written and enjoyable to play, so we've not seen any core changes to our rules. Our biggest winner is the Paragon warsuits. These have seen a massive 40-point reduction, bringing them from overcosted into the realms of strong. Beforehand, at 240 points, this unit was a risky option, but at 200 you gain tons of lethal shooting and awesome combat. I would suggest always including at least one with a mace, as it gives you access to tank shock at strength 12, which means you will be rolling 14 dice the majority of the time when you use this stratagem. The unit's weakness of needing Morven to be an S tier unit is still a downside to consider, although even Morven has seen points decreases. If you do take these, make sure to balance how many pain engines and vehicles you take with them, as these will give away easy bring it down points if you misplay them. Next up is the Arco Flagellants, the wiggliest of boys. I was already including this unit in my army, but now they've had a whopping 20 points reduction. I'd say they are quickly moving toward that auto take slot. They kick out a boatload of attacks and have sustained hits and twin linked built in, with an amazing feel no pain and 2 wounds apiece. They're quite survivable. Unlike 9th edition, Holy Rage for +1 to wound affects them along with miracle dice, and you could also consider attaching a preacher who has also seen a points decrease to gain the same effect without spending command points. The downside of this unit is they really do need a transport to stay alive, which is a big investment. The Rhino did also drop 5 points, but it does become a conversation of either taking a second unit of these or a transport, as the Rhino is still 75 points. I don't think either is wrong. As a choice, it just comes down to preference and what you're trying to do. Lastly, pretty much every single sister character has seen a points reduction. I love that my Palatine, who is epic with that blade enhancement, is now even cheaper. She's going to be decking squads left, right and centre. The Dialogus, who can change any miracle dice to a 6, is an auto include at 30 points, and could really make a unit like Multi-Melter Retributors more effective, with a guaranteed damage spike once a turn when you get that wound through. It's becoming too cheap to not buff most of your squads with a character to some extent, but do be careful with this, as you don't want your opponent eyeing up your force and deciding Assassinate is the way forward as a fixed objective. You'll concede a ton of points. It's also worth mentioning Junith. She has also seen a good points reduction, and she generates you 1 command point a turn for free. She is definitely an auto include in my eyes too. My final thoughts to close out, that there are now some combos I would consider, such as the devastating wounds on the Sacrosancts with Astrid Ferga, as she's so cheap now, even if it doesn't work out, you've not lost a ton of investment. The mass points reduction roughly equates to an extra 2 units in your sister's army, which based on the games I've played, will certainly mean tougher games for my opponents, because a lot of the games I've played have been close, and this could swing it in my favour, just that little nudge that I need. It's not all good, of course, as the Exorcist has seen a hefty points increase, rising by another 20 points. And with changes to Overwatch, we can no longer indirectly fire at targets we cannot see. This does mean the Castigator is now king. It's not the end of the world, but I'd maybe only be taking one of these Exorcists at most now. Transports for a lot of the units in the army are still required in my eyes, but they have got cheaper. Now with the Immolator being so cheap, with access to Melter and awesome Flamers, I'm beginning to consider the Immolator over a Rhino in some situations. Thanks for watching all, and please don't forget we give away free combat patrols or equivalent every month. That's the winner's choice, and you are automatically entered by being a patron, which you can do for as little as £3 a month. We are running an ongoing global narrative campaign that anyone can get involved in, and their results can influence the outcome. Patreons get more missions, but it is free to get involved. Subs, comments and subscriptions will help us massively, and outside of that, have a good one.